Welcome, Comadres, and thank you for joining us this evening for our monthly Las Comadres speaker series. My name is Maria Ferrer, and along with Eileen Schleff, we gather Latinas who are breaking the mold in every arena to populate our speaker series. Before we start, we want to ask everyone to please put yourselves on mute. If you have questions or comments, please put them on the chat, and we will get to them at the end of the session. Tonight, we have a National Cancer Awareness Month special for you. Join us in welcoming my sister, Dr. Charley Ferrer, founder of the Cancer Tamer Foundation. Charley was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2016 and then thyroid cancer in 2017. Times were bleak, but Charley refused to give in to despair and instead set out to tame her cancer. Her Cancer Tamer Foundation focuses on education and empowerment for women and men with breast cancer. Interviewing Charley will be Comadre Tess Tobin, a former president of Reforma, a retired librarian, and the submissions coordinator of the Las Comadres and Friends National Latino Book Club. Comadre Tess.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Hi, Dr. Charley. It's so nice to see you and so nice to have you here during Breast Cancer Awareness Month and talk about—
Thank you for having me here.
Right, and talk about your great work. Okay, Maria just mentioned that you were diagnosed with cancer in 2016 and then not long after that, the thyroid cancer.
Yeah.
What went through your mind at that point?
Well, on the first time, which is funny because I was diagnosed February 9 with breast cancer in 2016. And I sat there and I just looked at the lady because I think that, and this goes to the part of why I created Cancer Tamer, was because the doctor just turned around and did my biopsy, took the little sample, shook it up and goes, yep, you got breast cancer, but I can't tell you until tomorrow.
Oh.
So do you want me to call you or would you like to come in? And I'm just sitting there going, what?
Wow.
And so for me, it was that shock factor, but the other piece was, oh my God, now what? You know, because everybody that I knew in my family who had gotten either breast cancer or ovarian cancer or any other kind of cancer always died. So I'm like, okay, I'm sitting here, I'm dead, you know, now what?
Right.
And then 364 days later, in February 2017, I got diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And so it's that big piece of now what? You know, now here's another one. Now here's all these other things that are happening. I remember when I was first diagnosed, I was actually ready to do a workshop called Body Love. And it was all about loving your body and feeling good and feeling happy. And so it was a shock. And then I'm sitting there going, oh my God, two things come together. And what I also found was that I did my own breast exam, and that's how I found the lump.
Oh,
and so I went to the doctors, and the one thing that I got upset with the doctors is that you tell them there's an issue, and they tell you, okay, we can get you in 6 months from now.
Right.
You know, and so my thing was, I'm like, no, Dr. So-and-so, I'm making up people.
Right,
Dr. So-and-so said that I was, you know, that I have a lump and that I have to come in and it has to be diagnosed. And, you know, so it was that piece of making sure that I advocated for myself, because when I first got diagnosed, I was doing everything by myself. And so I looked at it from the perspective of being in shock and being scared. And I never went into anger. I know that so many people have so many different experiences, but I never got angry. I was like, well, I must have done something wrong, you know, too much soda, too much this, too much that. But it became that part of, what do I want to do now?
Okay, good. You know, naturally, when you hear the word cancer, everybody thinks, oh my gosh, I have to turn this into my doctor's hands, you know, I have to go to the medical profession. But as you just said, you became your own advocate. At what point did you feel that you had to advocate for yourself?
Right at the beginning. And the reason I say that is because after the first one with the little, oh yeah, I can't officially tell you until tomorrow, they made an appointment for me the following week to talk to a breast surgeon. And all she did, I'm sitting there, you know, with the little Jonesy thing on, and you're half exposed. And this woman just walks in, sits down, and says, okay, well, we're going to do a dual mastectomy and an ovary removal.
Oh my,
And I'm looking at her going, excuse me? I think you got the wrong chart. I think you got to go and get my chart. And she goes, no, 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 you're Charley Ferrer. And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, yep, that's what you're here for. And I'm like, who are you? I
right.
didn't even know who she was. And so it became what I started seeing like immediately there was the fact that I wasn't getting any information. If I asked questions, I was told, well, make an appointment to ask questions. And then when I did make an appointment, it was like, well, you got 5 minutes to ask us all your questions. And I'm going in with a notebook going, I want to know about this, 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 this. And I would write down all my questions. I had like 3 pages full of questions. And they're like, no, 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 no. You need to make an appointment for that.
Right.
So I found that when you didn't get enough information, you were treated just like, you know, like an assembly line. Well, we'll get you in, we'll do this, we'll do that.
Right.
And it's like, wait a minute, I'm scared, I need information, please give it to me. And I wasn't getting it. So I started getting all the information I could on my own and then sharing it with as many people as I could.
Very good. Yeah. It sounds very impersonal, like you said, like an assembly line. So I guess you didn't feel anger, but you felt more determination and to take control of your life and to
Yeah.
let these doctors know that you were the patient with the one with the breast cancer.
Right. And the analogy that I always use with them and with everybody else is, please show me how to cross the street without getting hit by the car. Tell me before I get hit by the car what I need to do.
Right.
Because it's a big freight train. The other thing that I see with breast cancer or any other kind of cancer is that you as the patient are supposed to shut up, listen to what they say, and do what they say. And if you don't, that's where you start getting issues. You know, well, I've been a doctor for 20 years and I know what I'm doing and I've been cancer, you know, and they give you all this information about all the knowledge that they have. And yet they forget that, by the way, I'm also doing research. I may not know how to cut myself open and take the cancer out, but I have questions. And that's why I'm asking you. And if you can't see me for more than 5 minutes, then why the hell am I here?
Good.
And it is that piece of being your own advocate. And sadly, most people aren't, because they figure, oh, well, the doctor knows what they're talking about. I should just shut up and do it.
Right.
Or you're getting pressure, not only from the doctors, but from your family. And they want you to hurry up and do something because they don't want you to die, because everybody thinks cancer, death.
Right, right. Okay. Okay. Well, what you're going to tell us some more about, you know, how you handled this and the wonderful foundation that you set up. But my next question is, I know you hate the word survivor when
I do.
referring to women who had their treatment and got better. You prefer cancer tamer. Can you tell us the difference between those two words and why is this difference so important?
Yeah. So the reason I came up with the word cancer tamer, and it was actually a friend of mine's, when I was first diagnosed, I was talking to her and I said, I really hate the word survivor because it means I have to be at war with my body. And so she says, well, what do you want to be known as? And I said, well, I want to tame the cancer. I want to be able to learn what's going on so that instead of constantly being at war, that I'm doing something about it. So the premise of it is that cancer is in your blood, it's in your breast, it's in your DNA sometimes. And so if you're constantly at war, then you're actually trying to kill something that's you. And so you're battling yourself, and you're getting nowhere. You're just getting sicker. And so that's the piece of taming it, because whether you have stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, it doesn't matter. What matters is, how do you deal with it? How do you interact with the cancer, with the people, with your meds, with just living every day.
Right, right. Good. You did start Cancer Tamer Foundation to help educate and empower other women with cancer. You launched an educational television program and wrote a play and did a documentary. You did all this in 3 years. Where did you find the energy, and what is driving you?
Well, the energy came from making sure that I left a footprint. So everybody's trying to reduce their footprint. I'm like, no, let's make big footprints. And so, there's so much that we can do. My purpose wasn't to do all this. My purpose was more of getting a little bit pissed off that nobody was giving this information. And I actually had a doctor who told me, well, we'll give you the information you need when we feel you need it. And I'm like, seriously? So that's when I started just going, okay, well, everything I'm learning, I'm going to share with the next person and the next person and the next person. And we started the television show actually in June of 2016. And that was right after my second surgery. So it was more of being able to share as much as I could, because if I had to do all this research, then other people were having to do it and they didn't know where to turn, because I didn't know where to turn when I was first diagnosed.
Right, right. I'm so glad you created it. How does one become a cancer advocate for oneself? Any tips for comadres and caregivers going through the cancer treatment?
This is where I say we've been taught to be nice and polite and respectful to everyone. That's, as women, as comadres, as Latinas, we're supposed to be very respectful. And this is the one time that respect means yourself. And so ask your questions, be annoying, constantly say, I'm not getting it, I need help. Because nobody is going to sit there and walk you through. And you have to do that for yourself. Even if you turn around and say, you know what, today I just don't have the energy to deal with stupidity, but maybe tomorrow I will. And then being able to do that, or get somebody to do it for you, but realizing that you need to not only do it and have somebody else do it for you, but be a partner with that person. I know my other sister, one time we were trying to get some medicine that I needed for my breasts, because my breasts were actually rotting, and I couldn't get the pads. And I'm just like, you know what, screw it, I don't care anymore. And my other sister standing there, she just started screaming at the pharmacist, they're not giving her what she needs. And she just, I was so in love with her at that point. It's like, thank you, because I just couldn't do it for myself. And so being able to find people who can be a little hardcore when you can't, and finding those people and bringing them to you.
Right. That leads me to the next question. A support team of family and friends and significant others is very important in recovery. How does one go about forming this support team? Do you have any good tips on that?
Yeah, I would say, not only finding friends and family members that can help you, but also getting a therapist. I think a therapist is wonderful in just regular life, but having a therapist that actually deals with breast cancer, if that's what you have, or any other cancer, because that individual can help you work through it. Family is great, but there are questions or topics that family just can't talk about. When you want to talk about death and dying, the first thing they say is, oh my God, don't give up, don't give up. You know, you're gonna make it, you're gonna survive. And it's like, I'm not planning not to make it, but I want to talk about death. I want to talk about my funeral. I want to talk about, you know, all these other issues that are part of living. And sometimes when you try to bring that out to your family, they get really upset. And so instead of you getting the help you need or get the discussion that you need, you actually break down or clam up so that you don't get them nervous, so that you don't get them emotional. And that hurts you. So making sure you get a therapist, making sure you find the people that are going to be helpful. And it's okay to separate your friends, because one of the things that I've noticed with myself and with every single patient that I've ever spoken to, you lose people along the way. Some people can't handle the diagnosis. Some people don't feel comfortable. Some people get afraid that they might catch something. So realizing that you'll lose friends, you'll gain friends, and making sure that you get the ones that you want. And it's okay to separate them into categories. Like, this one's going to help me get, you know, back and forth to work. This one's going to help me, you know, when I really want to go out and just party and not think, this is the one that I want to go to. So being able to have different support groups is perfect. It's just like anything else with friendship. And Tess, I don't know if you know this, but your camera is wonky.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Maybe Tanya, you could close me out, because I'm having technical difficulty from this side. But I can see you, Charlie. So
Oh, okay.
whatever you can do, Tanya, maybe on your side, so it's not wonky. We don't want a wonky camera.
Okay, I just removed the pin, so we're
Very
now
good.
recording Charlie. So
That's-
continue with the interview.
Very good. Okay, very good. Thanks, Dr. Charlie. The next question is, you've talked about your fear and struggle to overcome cancer. What's available to help the family and friends who are helping you during this cancer journey? Is there support available for them too?
Yes, there are support groups for family members, caretakers, and they definitely should go and get their own support, because they can talk about things. They can talk about, you know, how hard it is for them, and realizing that they're also going through the process and they have their own kinds of fears. They have their own expectations. They have their own questions. And so there are therapists, again, out there. A lot of people think that you have to go outside to get a therapist, but you can talk to your own team at the hospital and ask them to see the social worker.
Okay, good. Okay, now this is interesting. Let's talk about men. I know I've seen in some of your promotional material, you have men in your group. Is it true that men too can get breast cancer? And
Correct.
Is the treatment the same?
The treatment is the same, and sadly, sometimes the treatment works worse for them, because the treatment is all set up for estrogen. It's all set up for women. So they didn't really do any research for men. And so men are taking tamoxifen and Arumadex, which are estrogen-based hormone disruptors. And so it doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't work as great for them, but they have more issues. Also with men, men tend to find their breast cancer in the later stages. So they're at 3 and 4, where women can find theirs in stage 1 through 4. But men typically are more advanced when they do find it. And the reason is because when they go for an exam, they typically go and they check the groin area on men, but they don't check their chest. Right. And so a lot of the time, the men are like, "Oh, don't worry about that. That's just a lump. Don't worry." And that's where they really need to educate themselves. And the other thing with men that's pretty sad is that they don't, you know, they have to have the mammograms just like the women, but they don't have the body fat on their chest. So it's also harder for them. Plus, they're made to feel a little inferior because all of the nightgowns and everything else are all pink. So you have a big, 6'2" guy around in a little itty bitty pink tutu. And I remember one of the guys was told, "You don't belong here," when he was waiting for his mammogram and his ultrasound. And they told him, "You don't belong here. You need to leave. This is for women with breast cancer
Oh
only."
my gosh. Yeah.
And so that's also that separation of thinking, well, only women get breast cancer. And the guy had to explain, well, I'm here for breast cancer too. And so they do get a short end of the stick.
Yeah, but I think it's great that, you've include men, and I think they need the support, like you say, even maybe more so than the women.
Yeah.
That's very
Yeah.
good.
And there is an organization that we connected with, which is Male Breast Cancer Coalition. And it was started by a mom who her son got diagnosed with breast cancer
Oh,
as well.
good. Okay. We've discussed your living despite cancer. What's the thriving part? Can you tell us a little bit about New Thrive Haven?
Yeah, so Thrive Haven is actually a place here that I'm creating in Florida to be able to host women with breast cancer so that they can have a couple of days away from cancer, so that they can actually talk to someone else that has had it, learn how to relax, learn how to eat better, healthier, because that is one of the big snafus in our treatment, that you don't get enough nutrition, the correct nutrition. And so what we're doing here is being able to create that place where it allows you to just rest and not worry about anything and just be comfortable within your own body, and then be able to get that empowerment so that you can go back and go, okay, I'm ready to kick butt now.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Good. You can tell us, we can do their slides now, and you can tell us a little bit about the Cancer Tamer Foundation and what you're up to next.
Sure.
Thank you.
So where did it go? Okay, here we go. Can you see? Did it show up?
Tanya,
We're seeing the full screen with the PowerPoint. If you could reduce to the slideshow.
Yep. I'm trying to. We're almost there. Is that the slideshow? Is that it?
You're good.
Okay. So basically, it's more about living and thriving despite cancer, because everybody thinks you're either going to die or you have to give up everything. And that's, we don't have time to talk about financial issues, but that's also one of the workshops that we do. Part of what we do at Cancer Tamer is that we do different events, which we call Celebrate Life program. And so we took women whitewater rafting. We took them to see the Christmas show. We took them to do beads, glass beads. And so we do a lot of different things. And we don't exclude the families. We try to keep it women only, but in some of the events, we let the husbands come, we let the friends come, so that everybody can enjoy. We went to see, in June, we went to see Melissa Etheridge in concert, which was so awesome in Staten Island. And now that we're in Florida, we're going to start doing a whole bunch of things in Florida. These are some of the programs, are some of the books and the play that we did. There's a book called Breast Cancer from Diagnosis to Surgery that takes you through all the different things that you'll be experiencing. And it's not about treatment, because I'm very big on treatment should be discussed with your doctor. What we do at Cancer Tamer is we talk to you about living it. And so that's what the books are about. There's a journal, there's quotes and inspirational thoughts and comments that you could do every day. We did a play called Breast Cancer Diaries, where we had like almost 150, 300 stories, all true. The names were changed to protect the guilty, so that we wouldn't be sued. But it was all stories about going through breast cancer. And then if you ever need to contact us, please, just go to cancertamer.org and be able to contact us there and just, ask questions or make comments or watch the television shows. I'm trying to, oh, thank you. I was trying to close the share, but it is that part of being able to talk to somebody else who's had it. And we don't discriminate against other cancers. You can come to us with thyroid cancer, leukemia, anything else, and we'll talk to you. Because everybody that works at Cancer Tamer actually has had cancer. And it's just one cancer patient to another, just talking about all the things and all the issues and complications and challenges that you'll face. So, and everything is free. We do everything for free. We get, we get sponsors, and we try to get sponsors and donations and things like that. But the women, you come to us and you do everything for free.
That's great. Yeah, it's so inspirational. Is that my voice? Can you hear me, everyone?
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Charley. That's so inspirational. And I'm so happy you're going to start up again. I know you've relocated to Florida, so good luck with all that. And now we're going to turn it over to some questions. Tanya, I cannot see the chat. So if there are any questions in the chat, can you go ahead?
Well, I've asked for questions, but we still haven't gotten any, and to get everybody all warmed up. So Charlie, you kind of started to allude to the question that I was curious about, which was the financial aspect. And yes, I know you could talk for another 2 days about that. How about a 5-minute quickie so that other questions?
5-minute quickie on financial and which part of the finances that you want. There's a program that we do called Reducing Your Financial Toxicity, which we teach you all the different ways to be able to play with your finances, especially credit cards, and being able to get yourself help through that. One of the biggie things is there's so many programs out there like Stomp the Monster, and talking to the social worker at your hospital and saying, look, I need financial assistance. And they can help you and help you look for some online, because it is a pain in the ass to look for them, and you never know where to go. And hey, cats on YouTube, and go back and find the programs that you need, because there's so much information out there. It's just trying to get it down to something that you can actually use. But talk to the social workers at there. If you go to our website, there's a whole list of places that you can see to help you financially. And there are lots of programs out there to help you, not just with treatment options, but some of the more advanced treatment options that they don't offer to just, they offer it to everyone, but most people can't afford it. And I know one of the women that we worked with, she actually got a $40,000 grant to get her chemo shots for her specific issues.
So Judith, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Oh, okay. Yes. Hi. Thank you so much for organizing this. And thank you so much, Dr. Ferrer, for sharing this amazing experience. I was wondering, what is the best lesson, or what is the lesson that you have learned in your life after have survived 2 types of cancer?
The biggest is that you need to enjoy every minute. I think where everybody thinks that life is going to go on, we don't stop to think that maybe someday we might die. And so I don't want to say we waste life, but we kind of go through it, and we sit there and we watch TV and we do all these things that numb our mind. But it becomes what if this was the last time that you got a hair shampoo at the hairstylist? What if this was the last time that you took a trip somewhere? What if this was the last time that you saw your loved ones, your sisters or your husband or your mother? What would you say to them? And being able to just enjoy life. You don't have to be the goody two shoes. All of a sudden, oh, it's so amazing, I found God. It's just a part of realizing that you have today and it's your choice how you're going to live it, good or bad. Do you want to be mad? Do you want to be happy? Do you want to eat healthy? Do you want to drink that Coca-Cola and cheesecake? You know, what is it that you want to do? And realizing for me, and I actually have my bracelet on, it says choose. And so realizing you choose every minute of every day how you're going to live this life. How do you want to do that? And you can, and here's the real surprise, you can change your mind as soon as you want to. So you could be pissed off, you could be happy, and 2 seconds later you go, I don't like this, I'm gonna change how I feel about it. That's okay. It's really okay to change your mind because you didn't like that, but try everything. And that's the one thing that I love, try everything. I tried everything. You know, I still haven't gone, not skydiving, but parasailing, which is what I want to do, because nobody wants to do it with me. I want to just like fly like an eagle, you know.
Nice segue into my next question that I thought of while others submit,
Sure.
which is, while you've given advice for the individual, what kind of advice would you give to the family that's trying to support that individual?
I think the biggest advice I would give to family is that you need to realize that this is their life. This is your child's life or your wife or your husband. You need to let them make their own decisions. So if they don't want to take the medicine, if they don't want to do the chemo, if they don't want to have, you know, mastectomies, do both, do one, let them be able to make that decision for themselves, because they're the ones that have to live with this. Personally, I decided not to do the medicine. I decided not to do the chemo. It was just, from the research that I was doing, it would actually destroy my body more than it would help me. And so, you know, making my own decisions. And that's the important piece. It's being respectful of the fact that, yeah, you know, and I actually had a doctor say, oh, well, you know, when you come back with full-blown cancer all over your body, you're going to regret it. When I told her I didn't want to take the medicine because it was already destroying my body. And I'm just like, why would you say something like that? So horrible. So realizing that it is your choice. I don't advocate for not doing the medicine. That's your choice. I advocate for you making the choice for yourself. And that's the piece that's really important. There is one question that hasn't been asked, and I want to make sure I address it, because you're always, always, always going to hear about how it's genetically in your family. Your mother had breast cancer, your grandmother, your cousin, your whatever. And so of course you'll hear the term thrown out there, oh, well, it runs in your family. It's your genetically disposition. You have the BRCA1 or the BRCA2, or you don't have it at all, but everybody else in your family has an issue. This, I have to say, is such a big bullshit. So excuse me for saying that, but it's crap. I will tell you why your mother, your sister, your brother, your uncle, your cousin also had breast cancer. You all live in the same place. So if you're exposed to a toxin, if you're exposed to environmental conditions that aren't healthy, of course, the other people in your family will also be not healthy. The only way that I say that it runs in the family is if your cousin in Connecticut also has it, your cousin in Timbuktu also has it, your cousin in New Zealand also has it, then it is genetically predisposed. But if it's just that all of you are living in the same area, then you're all being exposed to the same toxins.
So
So
Judith,
be very careful about believing that.
Charley, we have a follow-up question from Judith. So why don't you go ahead and unmute yourself now?
Okay, thank you. Yes, very interesting. How you was recovering without medicine?
I'm actually recovering so much better. when I was on the tamoxifen, they put me on a Rumidex actually. And I was on it for about 3 months. And what happened for me was that I ended up getting an ear, not an ear infection, but it actually, the medicine destroyed my inner ear. So I actually couldn't walk straight. So if you see me walking, even today, you see me walking, you swear I'm drunk. You know, 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm still walking like this because it destroyed my inner ear. And all the conditions that were happening were not things that I wanted to deal with. What you find a lot of the time is that you will get from the doctor, oh, it's normal. So you say, doctor, this is happening to me from the medicine. It's normal. Doctor, I can't feel my feet. That's normal. Doctor, I feel like somebody's stabbing me at the bottom of my feet. Oh, it's normal. The truth is, it's not normal. It's a side effect that you're getting from the medicine. And so that's where I go back to the person. It's your choice how you want to live your life. Do you want to live your life feeling like somebody's stabbing your feet or that you have no condition? So it is up to you. As far as how I'm living, I'm cancer free. And that's the one piece that people don't want to tell you, that you're cancer free until that 5-year mark. And then they say, oh, well, we can't say you're cancer free because it might pop up. The way I look at that answer is, if it's not in your blood, it's not in your margins, it's nowhere in your body, then of course you're cancer free. The fact that you feel you need to wait 5 years before you tell me I'm cancer free is stupid. The other piece that I have a problem with is that they'll say, oh, well, you're in remission. Hate that word. Really hate that word. Because what does remission mean? The definition of remission is it's quiet, but you're going to get it again. That's what remission means. We're just waiting for it to pop up again. And so for the next 5 years, when they say, well, you're in remission, the next 5 years, you're freaking out when you go to have your next test. And you're so worried that something is going to be wrong that you make yourself sick. And so again, the difference between, are you in remission or are you cancer free? Well, if it's not there, I must be cancer free. And if I get a new cancer in my thyroid, or if I get a new cancer, because now all of a sudden I have, God forbid, have another lump somewhere else, well, that's a new lump, isn't it? So that's a new cancer. It's not the same one. It's a new one. And they'll say, oh, well, it migrated. Well, the truth is that everyone has cancer in their body. Everyone. The difference is that when you're not healthy, when your body's not healthy, it's not killing off those cancer cells and expelling them from your body. And so they grow and they make a cluster, and then you have a tumor. Yeah. That's the difference. And most people don't realize that cancer actually thrives on sugar. So if you're drinking Pepsi, Coca-Cola, tons of sugar with your tea, you're actually feeding the cancer. And so trying to cut back on that sugar.
Which was the last question. I asked everybody the last opportunity, you alluded to diet and food. And
yes.
Here you've just brought it out. You said for these programs, you also teach people how to eat, what things they should avoid, how they should eat.
Right.
So,
and it is eating healthier. I love juicing. There's a great book out there called Crazy Sexy Juice by Chris Carr. She has the most amazing juices that you can find. I used to think, well, that's kind of silly, drinking juice. Of course, I drink OJ. But this is like carrots and celery and cucumbers and all these other kinds of fruit that you're putting together. And it actually makes you healthy. It actually makes you, and I hate using the word lose weight, but it actually gets rid of weight. And it also helps your body digest things better. So carrot and orange juice, putting them together and throw a little turmeric and black pepper. Oh my God, So good. You could do it by yourself in your house. And it's just delicious. It's delicious. And the beauty of it is that it's actually feeding your body healthy stuff, as opposed to, let me get a Diet Coke, which, by the way, Diet Coke is even worse, you know, because you'll say, oh, well, it doesn't have the sugar. No, but it has all the chemicals. So being very conscientious about what you're putting in your body. One of the things that most people don't know about, and I'll talk quickly, is carrageenan. Carrageenan is actually an additive that they put into a lot of the foods. It's in ice cream, it's in milk, it's in almost everything you eat. And the thing with carrageenan is actually it's a chemical that they use to cause inflammation. And what they found was that in a study that they did, they would inject rats with carrageenan to get them to get their body inflamed, to grow tumors, so that they can then test the different foods or the different chemicals that they were trying to combat the cancer in the rats. So if you're thinking, oh my God, well, I'm not drinking that, check your ice cream, check your milk, you know, even almond milk. Some of the almond milk has the carrageenan, because what it is, it's a thickener. It makes things thicker. So instead of having watery almond milk, you have thicker almond milk. That's the carrageenan. So be very careful with what you put into your body. So, but definitely do the juicing. Even if you don't want to do anything or have any issues, it's awesome. And then you can create your own flavors. And I actually freeze the extra ones and then just have my own ice cream. So, things
Maria, if you want to help us here.
I'm sorry?
No, Maria was supposed to close us out, but I think it can.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, we
Can you
got like
see me?
10 minutes, right?
Yep. Charlie, is there more that you want to, other topics that you want to reach out and talk about?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Hi, Naida. I'm also, I had breast cancer this year. I had my imaging after surgery this week and everything looks good. I am on the anastrozole, the hormonal, and I just wanted to know if you took it and how did it make you feel?
Well, let's see. I felt like Freddy Krueger visited me at night and stabbed my feet. Okay. I had no balance whatsoever.
And this was the hormonal pill that they give you for 5 years.
Yes. So here's something to know about the 5-year pill. The 5-year pill was actually a 2-year pill that turned into 5 years and then turned into 10 years. The reason is they don't have enough information and studies on the pill. So they're actually getting you to take it for 5 years or 10 years so that they can have the information they need.
Now it's 7 years.
Now it's 7 years, yeah. Because my doctor told me that I had to take it for 2 years. Then she said, oh, well, it's 5 years. And then she jumped to 10. And my comment was, you're lucky if I take it for another day. Because it is that part of, there are a lot of complications with it. And so then it's up to you to decide, are you willing to live with those complications? Okay, so when they say, oh, it's normal, no, it's not normal. It's a complication that you're experiencing when you have neuropathy, when you can't feel your feet, when you have a balance issue, when you feel nauseous all the time, when you're exhausted all the time.
And hot.
And hot.
Like the hot is just like not a normal hot.
Yeah, it's like your body is burning up from the inside.
Yes.
The other piece with that too is make sure that they do a bone density test, because it does destroy your bones. So another complication. So if you do a bone density now, when you're starting it, then in a year or 2 years, they can do a repeat to make sure that it's not destroying you, or that you need, you go into osteoporosis and you have issues with your bones, and then you end up where your bones are more brittle and you get broken bones. So
Mhm.
things to consider. The other thing too is if you are on those pills, this is just information that I know from experience. So I'm not giving you medical advice because that'll get me in trouble. But with those pills, make sure that you get a cardiologist.
Yes.
It'll start messing with your heart because it's
Mhm.
keeping all the estrogen out of your body, and your
Mhm.
heart needs estrogen in order to function. So be
Mhm.
very conscientious of realizing that that's going to be one of the complications that you have. And
Okay.
so being very careful with what you put in. Be careful with your soy. Be careful with anything that has to do with your heart. And then, you know, eat better, do the juicing. Awesome, awesome. And then talk to your doctor about how you can, you can keep yourself healthy. And here's the one thing that I'm very big on. It's how you think of the pills. Because if you're taking your pill every day, okay, so we all know that whatever you believe is what your body believes, right? So if you
Mhm.
think something, oh, my finger hurts, then your body is going to go, ow, 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 my finger hurts, right? So if you're taking a medicine that says, I have cancer, I need to take this pill. I have cancer, I need to take this pill. I have cancer, I need to take this pill. Do you see what I'm getting at? I have
Mhm.
cancer. So for 365 days, you're telling yourself what? I have cancer, I need to take this pill. So
Yes.
guess what your body's going to say? Oh,
I
you have cancer. Let me make sure I listen to you. So instead, you can tell yourself, this is going to help me in whatever form you want to say that. This is going to help me get better. This is going to help moderate. This is going to help me get to the next stage in my life. So change what you tell yourself every time you take that pill. And also notice that instead of going to your appointments and freaking out, going, oh my God, it's my 6-month appointment. They're gonna find something. I just know it. They're gonna find something. Instead, go in there going, hey, 6 months, let me show you how good I'm doing.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
All mental.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And you're welcome to, anyone is welcome to contact us. You know, you usually get me or somebody else, but just to talk, to get a little information.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Any other questions? Sunshine Girl, I think Sunshine Girl put something on.
I can't see that. I didn't
There
put my
were
glasses.
several thank yous. So,
Oh, hi, Jackie.
Ferrer, let me address you properly for once. There were several of the attendees that said, thank you very much for sharing your experiences, and they really appreciate it. So,
Yeah. Well, thank y'all for being here. And one thing too is contact your what is it, who's the person that's in charge of the city council? If you talk to, like, Debbie Rose is the one for Staten Island. I'm not sure, so she's the councilwoman for Staten Island. But you can contact your local what do they call them? The council.
Councilman.
Yeah, and you can call them and ask them about getting a free will done. You know, get your will done, get your, have your last will and testament done, have your living will done. You know, what if I'm incapacitated and I can't, I can't speak for myself, or I can't advocate for myself? Let me write it all down. Let me have somebody that's going to step in and make sure that I get it. Not that you're going to die, but you have it ready. It's there. I know when I did my last will and testament, I actually had my sisters come to the house and choose what they wanted. I'm like, go ahead, choose. I'm going to put it in the will. And then when I was signing my will, I actually burst into tears. And the guy's like, oh, no, you're going to be okay. And I'm like, yeah, but this means I'm going to die. I'm acknowledging. And it's okay to acknowledge. Doesn't mean it's going to happen today, tomorrow, 30, 40 years from now. It's just acknowledging, and that's okay, because you're actually preparing yourself. And now that you got that out of the way, now you can go and go skydiving.
So
Yeah.
Jackie, I know you had a comment in the chat. Do you want to unmute yourself and make it? Jackie, Sunshine Girl? Basically, she put a comment in the chat if she's having trouble with her technology, suggesting that to take anastrozole in the evenings helped with her hot flashes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good because I have that pill and I take it in the morning and whoosh.
Yeah, and so here's the thing. Some doctors will tell you to take it at night so you could sleep through it. You don't sleep through it. And some other doctors want you to take it during the day, because this way all the side effects, you'll notice them, and then you can tell them about the side effects. So it is up to you which way you want to do it. But again, when you do it, remember, what are you telling yourself? So be careful on what you're saying to your mind and your heart. You know, this is going to help me. Or you might decide, well, you know what? I'm doing all my tests. Everything is coming out, fine. Everything is negative. Do I want to continue this? Because it is always your choice what treatment you want to follow. So make sure that you do that. The other thing that I would say is, one of the things that they never tell you is that when you are on these pills, you can also get leukemia, you can also get MS, you can also get another illness on top of that, because these pills are basically little tiny bits of chemo. That's what they are. So realizing these are pieces that are affecting you. That's why you have so many side effects. So it is up to you what you want to do.
Okay. So let's end on a positive note. We're all going to think positive. We're all going to advocate for ourselves. We are all going to, do our due diligence, and we're going to be informed. And we wish everyone who's undergoing, these treatments, to, good luck. And those who are not, do remember that, you should get yourself checked every year. Talk to your doctor. Sometimes you can't have mammograms till you're 40, but, if your mother has it, somebody else in the family has it, they will move you up, but think about the mammogram. Do talk to your doctor, like Charley said, and just, be your own advocate and consider what's best for you. And for your family, love them and try to explain to them and get them on your side. But so we want to thank Dr. Charley Ferrer, my sister, of whom I'm very proud. We want to thank her for such an honest and informative discussion on cancer. We want to thank Comadre Tess Tobin for, her help with the interview, and Comadre Tanya Soleil for her help with the recording and the session going. We want to thank all of you for being here tonight. Tonight's session has been recorded and will be added to the Las Comadres YouTube channel soon. For more information about Las Comadres and our speaker series, please visit us at www.lascomadres.com. For more information about Dr. Charley and Cancer Tamer, please visit her at www.cancertamer.org. And we thank you for being here with us, and we wish you well. Thank you again, everyone.